Hello, welcome to Module 6 of Power BI course. In Module 6, the focus is on using Power BI for data analysis, which is called DAX. DAX is the engine that transforms raw data into meaningful business intelligence. So in this module, we'll see how Power BI can be used to transform raw data into meaningful business intelligence. All right. So now, what is even DAX? But before we talk about what DAX is, let's talk about why DAX matters. The aim is that you will learn, in this module, you will learn the fundamentals of what we call data analysis expression, which is called DAX. The full meaning of DAX is data analysis expression. So in this module, you will learn the fundamentals of data analysis expression to create custom calculations and even advanced analytics in Power BI. The reality is that data analysis is the core purpose of every business intelligence. So while Power Query cleans and prepares data, it is DAX that analyzes it. So it is DAX that enables dynamic metrics, KPIs, and sophisticated analytical models. So this module will cover the introduction to DAX, which will look at syntax, the structure, and the role in Power BI. We'll also look at aggregation, logical, and text functions. Also look at filter functions and how to manage context. Now also talk about time intelligence and advanced DAX calculations. Applying DAX for business analysis and insights will also be discussed. So by the end of the module, you should be able to create dynamic calculations, perform metrics, and even have actionable insights that support strategic decision making. Now, let's look at what DAX is proper. DAX, like I mentioned before, DAX means data analysis expressions. So it is a formula language that is used in Power BI, to create custom calculations, is customized calculation and perform advanced data analysis. So DAX can be used to create calculated columns. What I mean is row by row calculations stored in the model. DAX can also be used to build measures. That's dynamic calculations based on what you have filtered out. It can also be used to perform aggregations. When we say aggregation, I'm referring to sum, average, count, minimum, and maximum. You can use DAX to calculate sum, average, count, minimum, and maximum. You can also use it to apply logical conditions. Like when we say logical conditions of if, then else, or switch. You can also use it to conduct time-based analysis. All right. So what are even the key components of DAX? Now, DAX have what we call calculated column. The calculated columns perform row by row calculations. Values are often stored in the data model, and this is best for categorizing or flagging individual rows. Then DAX also consists of what we call measures. It is measures that performs dynamic calculations based on filter context. Values are calculated only when needed in a report, more efficient, and it is more efficient for aggregation. So you can use measures to calculate for sum, average, count, minimum, or maximum. It also have what we call the function component. The categories include aggregation, logical, text, time intelligence, filter, and mathematical functions. Like I mentioned before, while Power Query is what prepares your data. It is DAX, but it is DAX that makes it intelligent and responsible to users' interaction. Now let's look at DAX syntax and basic structure. Now we'll look at the formula structure. The formula is equal to first the function name, all right, that the table or column, then condition or expression. Example of that is if you want to do sum is a function. Maybe you want to look at the total amount of sales that was made. You use the sum function. Okay, So the entire expression can be used to calculate the total of the amount in the column. So you just go to the column and you calculate the sum function. Now, but there are rules you need to follow. Common DAX syntax rules include that you must reference tables by name, while columns are referenced as table. Okay, for instance, if you have customers, what it means is customer name. Okay, now measures too. Measures are named, calculations stored separate. For instance, if you want to say total sales, what you should use is sum of sales. Okay, then for calculated columns, you can create it within a table. So if you have a full name of a customer, you can say customer's first name, then you now go to another column, customer's last name. Now, don't also forget that DAX make use of what we call standard operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, equal to, greater than, less than, and even or. So you have to take note of these operators and know when to use them. What are the benefits of DAX? DAX enable advanced business calculation, and it helps to create key performance indicators for a business and can help to generate meaningful business insights. You can see that DAX is very important. So, but let's look at the aggregation function in it. Aggregation functions help to summarize your data. So they perform calculations on a set of value and return a single result. So this is the most commonly used function in DAX. We use DAX a lot for aggregation. Common aggregation functions, like I mentioned before in the introduction, include sum. In sum, you add all values in a numeric column. Like I said, if you have a total, you want to know the total sales, you use the sum function. The one of average. Average function is used to calculate the arithmetic mean of values. If you want to determine the average cost or average price of a product, you use the average function. What about count function? Count function helps you to count the number of non-empty values in a column. All right. While there is what we call count rows. Count rows will help you to count the number of rows that are in the table. So that's just what it. Then minimum, we usually written as mean. Mean returns the smallest value in a column. It helps you to determine the lowest sale or the lowest value in a particular column. While max returns the largest value in a column. It helps you to know the highest sale or highest value. So that this is very important too in business, because you can use these aggregation functions to determine the total revenue of a product. You can even do it if your business have a regional base, or the business have a regional reach. You can use it to determine the total revenue by region and even by product. It can also help you to calculate the average price and know the number of customers or transactions that have been made. It can also help you to also identify minimum and maximum performance values. All right, so let's look at the other type. Let's look at the logical functions. This is where we add intelligence to calculations. Logical functions, what they do is that they evaluate conditions and return results based on whether those conditions are true or false. Okay, so they add decision making capability to your data models. Common functions, logical functions include if, the if function, and function, or function, if or function, and switch. Okay, so what do we use if function for? If is condition, value if true or value if false, you return. So it returns one value if a condition is true and another if it is false. For instance, if you want to talk about performance category, if sales is greater than 1,000, you say it's high, or if it is less, you say it's what? It's low. So that's the if function, where you place a value for true and another value for false. So then the and function gives two conditions, condition 1, condition 2. It returns true if all conditions are met. Okay, maybe if all the sales are of high value,
or there's that area they have high, there's high sales. That means for two different products having high sales, you can use the and function. Then the if or function. Now this one relates to when you want to um, make calculations based or analysis based on region. So this is more advanced. Okay. Then the switch actually evaluates multiple conditions and return corresponding results. Is better. It's even more efficient than what we call nested if statements, as is even used in Excel. So these logical functions can be used to categorize customers or products. You can categorize your products based on high, medium, or low value using this. It can also help you to flag transactions that require review. It can also help you to create performance tiers or brackets. It can also help to automate your business rule logics in reports. Okay. So let's look at the text function. The text functions are used to manipulate, format, and even transform text data, as the name implies, within your Power BI models. They help you to clean and standardize text fields for better reporting. Now, common text functions can include what we call concatenate, right, left, len, upper, trim, as the case may be. Concatenate is used to join two text strings together. You can use it to join full name, to have a full name. Maybe the first name and the other name is or last name is not together. You can use concatenate to bring it together if you want. Then the left can help you to extract character from the beginning of a text string, while right will help you to extract character from the end of a text string. You see. So while what upper does is to convert text to uppercase or lowercase. If you can use upper then text or lower text. Okay. So this is very important because it can help you to extract area codes from phone numbers. It can also help you to standardize text formatting for consistent reporting, and also help you to validate data entry quality. So let's look at filter functions. Filter functions are just used to limit or modify the data. If you want to modify your data or you want to limit it, to where you want to consider during calculation, you use the filter function. Then calculate. Calculate is the most important and powerful function in DAX because it helps to modify the filter contents of an expression, allowing you to change how measures are evaluated. So it can help you to create percentages of total. It can help you to calculate sales for a specific region, product, or period. Now, time intelligence function. This function enables analysis over specific time intervals. If you want to make analysis over days, months, quarters, and years, you use what we call time intelligence function. And they require a properly formatted date table in your model. Okay, you can use it to track cumulative sales performance. You can also use it to compare current year versus previous year performance. Now, you can use that to solve business problems. Maybe there is an issue. Maybe you want to think of which products are our top performers. You now think of what to do using that. Or you are asking who are our most valuable customers. You can use DAX to what? To carry out the business analysis to help you in a real world. So you have learned the fundamental concepts of data analysis expression DAX. Okay, we saw that DAX is very powerful. With DAX, in your toolkit, you are ready to move to advanced data visualization and dashboard design. All right. So thank you for listening.